a number of days later. This show is The Daybreak. So first, let's, after welcoming you, establish the potential of film economy. The potential of film economy in diversifying economic development, because we're looking at the contribution of this sector as an employment creator, revenue, and so on and so forth. Duncan?
Yeah, and morning on it. Good to be chatting to you. Yes, it's you know, as an industry, it's I mean, you can track countries around the world in terms of this creative space, and what the beauty about it is that it's such a powerful and interesting space that can be grown, and I mean, we've seen that in Botswana. I mean, the potential is massive. And and I think that just some of the challenges have been really just to be able to kind of how to expand it from the business of television point of view. So how do we expand it as a business beyond just Botswana? And I think that's one of our key focuses is to get essentially to assist Botswana's creative industry to punch above their weight and to be able to grow, you know, beyond Botswana.
Right. Have you had an opportunity to engage with the industry, with practitioners, and also maybe to assess the opportunities that lie ahead? I'm asking this so we can get from your view beyond just potential. How poised then is Botswana? Is it a case where in the industry it's starting from scratch, or is it a case where perhaps just a little tweaking, a little direction? How is Steve Harvey global through the initiative that is Botswana Ignite coming into intervention in this industry? What has been your view?
Yeah, so I mean, and that's a great question. And there are some really great television professionals in Botswana. And so the whole process, this whole approach that we're taking is an organic kind of multi-pronged approach. So it's not a single sort of linear kind of approach. It's not just about training and development, even though there is a big component of that, to be able to put more skilled people into the environment. But at the same time, to be able to take some of the more experienced professionals and give them a very specific advanced training with international trainers. But then we're looking at the whole business of television. So how do we take all this talent and all these, you know, these mechanics that we put in place to how do we take that and grow it as a business? So there's a big emphasis in everything that we're doing in terms of saying, how do you expand outside of Botswana? How do you sell your shows to the Netflix, the Amazons, the international broadcasters? And I think it's finding that balance between all of those. And it includes the Film Commission, which will market the local producers to the rest of the world, as well as attract international producers to come and film in Botswana, to do a lot more of that. So it is a multi-pronged approach.
Right. I got the opportunity to actually sit in your presentation of just exactly what Botswana Ignite offers. And I know that you broke it down into, if I could say, four pillars. First, the business of television and so on and so forth. I want to give you the opportunity to break it down at this moment, what the approach will be in the intervention of Botswana Ignite.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of from a training point of view, the 4 pillars that were in the training is there's the traditional, which is just your film, television skill sets, and then there is the immersion. So another part of this that we're doing is taking students and immersing them in world-class productions, so that they get that real on the ground experience. And then the other component of it is the actual business of television. How do I package and sell my program? So within the training schools, you've got, you know, the creative, the production, and then the business, and then the immersion. So those are the 4 components. And then in terms of the main pillars of the whole project, there's the 2 schools that we're running. So we're running the TV Academy, which is in entertainment and drama. We're running a wildlife film school, which is a specialist film school for that area. And then we've got mentorship and development program. We've got the Film Commission, which does all the marketing. And And then, and so that's how we're expanding this all the way across the spectrum of the ecosystem.
Right, because you mentioned there's an impressive pool of skilled people. So then, the question then would be, who is this intervention targeting? Are we looking at entry levels of fresh graduates? Are we looking at onboarding professionals? Are we looking just who is the target for this intervention?
That's fantastic, and it's across the board.
Right.
So that's what's really exciting for us. So once somebody goes to the site, which will break it all down for everybody, but it is for entry level. So there are courses for absolute entry level. So school leavers or people who straight out of university, or somebody who's only been in the industry for a month or 2 or 3. There's a course for them. And it still gives them the holistic approach that I've mentioned, but it would be a bigger emphasis on the technical training. And then we have for people who've been in the industry for 1 or 2 years. And then we have courses for people who are truly, experienced in the industry with sort of 5 or more years experience. And those courses will have sort of Oscar-winning winners kind of training them. They'll have international lecturers from around the world coming in. It'll be a truly impressive course. And so that's why the training is through the entire spectrum. It's not just for beginners, and it's not just for a unique group of professionals. Then on top of that, we're doing master classes, and those will be available to the entire industry, because there are people who are working in the business already, who are working professionals in television, and won't have the time to take off to do a course. So we're providing continuous master classes throughout the year, with all these specialists doing their unique kind of presentation, and making that available to everybody as well.
Right. Film and television industry has often been called expression of existentialism, if I can call it that, because there's no one area that film and television does not communicate. But the program is going to target training around unscripted the products such as entertainment or reality, but then also scripted when it's in reference to dramas, and then the wildlife products. Why these? Is there something that you're onto there? Where are these specific ones?
and it's a great question. So thank you, because you're right. There's such a wide spectrum in terms of the space. We're focusing in these particular areas for some really key reasons. So the wildlife one, the focus on wildlife is very specific, because Botswana has the most incredible wildlife, and it is an underutilized space in terms of television and filmmaking and documentary. So many films and documentaries, traditionally just wind up in South Africa or in Kenya, and so the whole idea is to start to train up a team that can take those stories specifically to the world and attract more business into shooting wildlife. So that's the wildlife focus. In terms of the other two, there's essentially entertainment television, which is actually quite a broad kind of category. Because it's everything from game shows to reality shows to all of those things, including children's programming. It all sits kind of under entertainment, because that's its core focus. But that's commercial TV. That's the kind of television that makes channels money. And so it's an easy door to push up against. And then the third area is scripted and drama, and that obviously expands all the way even into filmmaking. So because storytelling is storytelling, so scripting is scripting. The formats might be different, but so that's the area. And drama is exploding around the world, and it's the biggest growing area of television now. And it's squeezed out other areas. When last did you see a sitcom on television? So these are the trends. So what we're trying to do is to really just latch on the 3 core growing areas of television in the world right now.
Absolutely. And the website, I will quote these words: most ambitious and exciting opportunity. First, I picked the fact that world-class skills are going to be offered and imparted on the practitioners of this. But then also the greater benefit to the rest of the ecosystem. I want you to perhaps give examples which other sectors which form the ecosystem film and television will experience a great benefit. I want to give an example, like, for instance, music, which is the question that I asked there. So speak to the ecosystem that around television and film that is going to enjoy this ambitious, exciting opportunity.
Fantastic, thank you. And no, you're right. And the one interesting thing about the entertainment industry is that whenever it's measured, anywhere in the world, in any country, when the entertainment industry grows, the surrounding ancillary kind of businesses grow at the same rate. So that's the beauty. So you're investing in one area, but effectively you're doubling that up when you have a look at what the next kind of circle out of business is. And the next circle out of business is everything from sort of specialist kind of areas. So the ability for people to open and start camera rental business, lighting rental business, sound rental businesses that support this growing television space. Yeah. But it's the further knock on it. You know, it's down to car rental companies. It's down to catering companies and providing food on set. It's the whole hospitality industry. So it's the accommodation, the housing, the car rental, you know, that whole space. And so the knock-on is massive, because the spend on production actually is only a portion of that is on the actual creative process. The rest is on all the supporting infrastructure that keeps that all going. Yeah, yeah. Creations of the mind. Intellectual property is a commodity today. Yes. How much are you giving attention to that? We're giving attention to that, and both, so on two levels. The one is because IP is critical. You're absolutely right. I mean, if you don't understand what you have and the value of it and how to actually monetize that, so how do I actually make money out of this without selling it away or giving it away? So we're putting a lot of emphasis into, and again, it falls under this broader category of the business of television that we're teaching. So there are specialist areas of IP law, so intellectual law. And in that area, we're going to be providing some masterclasses for both the legal fraternity in Botswana, just to assist law firms to get more experience across this area. Those disputes. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But also how to partition your rights. You know, once you make something, you know, you don't want to sell it to one person once. You know, you want to understand that you can license to different people, you can window it, you can segment it, you know, you can sell it on a terrestrial basis, on country basis, on a language basis. There's so many different ways of being able to make money out of your IP. And in the same way, we're going to spend that amount of time also training all the producers so that not only do they understand it, but they can brief a lawyer. And when they're negotiating with somebody, they know what they can negotiate to maximize the return for themselves on their creative ideas. Absolutely. Market for producers and filmmakers has been primarily Botswana television, and then there are other platforms that even smaller in terms of their acquisition ability than Botswana television. So distribution is one area that has not thrived very well for Botswana stories, for products of Botswana. How much is coming into that direction? Yeah, I mean that's one of the key kind of measurables in terms of this entire project. Is how do we assist and how do we empower Botswanan producers to be able to take their programs and sell them outside of Botswana, so that everybody gets to enjoy them and consume them in Botswana, but how do we take them out, and that is a major part of this training and this process. But it's a number of and that's based on a number of areas. So the one is pure training. The other one is television is very much a networked world. You need to know the different markets and who the buyers are and what they're looking for and what they would pay and how I would package my idea for those particular markets. So there's a big emphasis as well on the education, but also the networking of people in that space. Right. So taking producers and networking them with international platforms. Okay. And then, I need to chip in there, and because time is not on our side, but I wanted to close off with you saying, how do we access this opportunity? Where do we find this opportunity? Do we pay for it, and so on and so forth? So the best place to access all the information on this opportunity is the website, which is botswanaignite.com. So it's www.botswana.ignite.com. And all the information is there. All the training courses are there. Information in terms of the entire project is all sitting there. Eligibility is there. And I would really encourage people, as many people as possible, go and have a look at the site, and all the information will be there. And worst case, there's even contact information down there where you can get to engage with us and we can answer your questions.
Do we pay?
You do not. That is the beauty. This is thank you for reminding me, but no. So all the courses are sponsored and fully paid for. And all the master classes are free. There is no cost for this. It's just we need enthusiastic and motivated people to come and get involved.
Thank you so much for coming through. Unfortunately, this is all the time that I have for this discussion. Thank you so much, and looking forward to engage in this opportunity.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time.
All right. From Ignite, the program Botswana Ignite, speaking from the side of the Steve Harvey Global company, which is in a partnership with the Department of Broadcasting Services on this opportunity, and letting you know, I think, let me let you go to the web page, Botswana Ignite, and get all the information there.